aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got quite a bit to go over today because there has been an endless stream of bullshit from content creators as it relates to Donald Trump's tariffs. Now, whenever I talk about tariffs, because I'm dealing with a group of mentally retarded, emotionally captured people that don't really have an understanding, my first question to them, in order to sort of break through the just crust of media manipulation, all the experts, coming out, my question is, if tariffs are this terrible, destructive thing that can ruin economies and basically mess up the entire world economic trading marketplace, why on earth are all of these other countries tariffing us? Why is it okay for them to tariff us, but not okay for Trump to do reciprocal tariffs on them? That's the question. And they have no answer. Because this is not about actually answering an economic question. It's about a bunch of people that don't know anything about economics, who have a resentment and a bitterness towards Trump, especially in the gaming community, who have determined that this is going to be their opportunity to make Trump look bad, or they just simply don't know anything and are going to lash out at whoever is in charge, and in this case it's Trump, and he's the one doing something, so he's the one that's bad. I'll give it to you straight. The only one that this is going to hurt are the people who have massive, massive, massive financial investments and interests in shipping jobs and manufacturing overseas. The average American citizen is going to benefit from this. That's what I believe. There are people that look at this and go, well, Nintendo is manufacturing their products in Vietnam, so that means that they're going to get tariffed. They're going to get tariffed 46%. No. What will end up happening is likely the products will get shipped to another country and then they'll get shipped to the US. One that has an extremely low tariff rate with the United States, which could be Japan itself. Because Japan has a relatively low rate. I'm not saying that it's super low, but like, for example, Vietnam has a rate of 46% because they have a rate for us that's there or higher. But when it comes to Japan, for example, Japan has a tariff rate at 24%. So if Nintendo is looking at this, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, instead of using Vietnam, maybe we make them here or we send them through somewhere else. But here's the thing that's so interesting. All of this, all of this could be avoided if they decrease their tariffs. And I'm hoping that that's the incentive. Because there are gamers and content creators that are incredibly short-sighted. I mean, these people are not thinkers. You know, the Act Man isn't going to have an original, interesting idea to save his reputation or his life. But I look at this and I go, there's major opportunity for American businesses. For American businesses to do business if the tariffs work in getting these other countries to lower their entry point for United States companies. So there was a content creator, goes by the name of Arlo, who had some things to say about this. And I'm going to do a reaction to this because a lot of people share this guy's sentiment. I personally don't. But it is something that many within the gaming community, especially content creators, have regurgitated. Again, the same people that lied about the Switch 2 controversy, that made up these thumbnails and these titles and headlines, made them as salacious as possible, lied outright. The physical copies are going to be $90. They're going to be $90. It's like, right now you can go to Target, and it's got the thing up there, the physical copy for $80. Now you can make the argument that $80 is too much, but the entire narrative that, well, first of all, you don't understand. The cartridges are not even going to have the game on them. It's like, no. Most games are going to be normal, especially from Nintendo. Some games are going to have key cards, and some games are going to be full downloads. This is how it was with Switch 1. So, I mean, nothing really changes. But that was not the narrative. The narrative was, oh, all your games are going to be a key code. Man, there was so much bullshit with that. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable the amount of misinformation, dishonesty, and bullshit that was promoted even by people like Jeff Keighley. But when we're talking about these tariffs, it's obvious what Trump is doing. He's putting the working man first. The working man has been made a sucker for far too long. They've been trivialized. They've been told that their opinions and things don't matter. They've been told that, they just have to go along to get along because so many people liked their garbage cheap. They didn't mind the slave labor from China. They didn't mind, all these people losing their jobs. Learn to code. They didn't mind. Well, now Trump is doing what he was elected by people like myself to do. He is dismantling the system that has hurt so many American people for so long. And so I look at this and I say, this is a major win for the working man. Now, there are a lot of idiots out there that don't understand this. They don't understand about tariffs. They don't understand about politics. They don't understand about anything. The only thing they know is, oh, I could have this thing delayed. Oh, it could be slightly more expensive. That's terrible. Orange man bad. And one of those people is a content creator by the name of Arlo. And just bear with me. Listen to this guy. and the way that he talks and the way that he speaks about this situation, I think you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Talk about this. I'm tired. You hear my voice? The cold is catching up with me. I'm tired. I talk about Nintendo and play Nintendo to escape stuff. You know, I really want this to just be a video about a piece of Nintendo news, you know, but pre-orders for Switch 2 getting delayed. It does not exist in a vacuum. This is not the sort of thing you could just be like, oh, you know, they're getting delayed. See you later. We'll update you when we know when the new pre-order date is. Yeah, pre-orders are supposed to go out, start on the 9th. And right now, nobody knows when it's going to happen, at least here in the US. And that's because nobody knows what is going to happen here in the US.
Oh, man. Look, I'm not going to be mean to this guy, but we all know what's going to happen. The only people that don't know what's going to happen are the people who didn't pay attention to Trump's speeches for the last year and a half. Trump was not secretive about what his plan was. Reciprocal tariffs. Reciprocal tariffs, for Arlo and people who apparently don't know, is if a foreign country tariffs our companies, our goods, then we're going to do the same to them. Now, Trump has made it abundantly clear that there's a way to get around these tariffs completely, which is to make your product in the United States. The other way to help alleviate this is to lower your tariffs on our goods and our companies. Apparently, this somehow translates to there's uncertainty, there's chaos, nobody knows what anything is going to happen. No, it's pretty crystal clear. Trump has made things crystal clear. America is done being ripped off. No more of these lopsided tariffs where the EU tariffs our cars at 10% and we tariff their cars coming into our country at 2.5%. Now, do you think that Arlo could make a cogent argument about how that's fair to American businesses? No, of course not. None of these people can. None of these people have any argument about this other than it mildly inconveniences me. Now, on the upside, the good that it can do is unbelievable. Bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. is incredible. It really is incredible. Bringing that back is actually essential. More jobs for Americans. The products that we all know are made here. And the important thing as well is making sure that foreign countries don't have the type of control that they currently do and have for years. Especially with all the stuff with COVID, it should have been a teachable moment. That we should be able to rely on ourselves rather than a bunch of foreign countries.
At least at this moment, Nintendo is insisting that the June 5th release date, that is still solid. But as for when we're going to be able to pre-order, we don't know. And I think they don't know. And a lot of stuff is really up in the air right now. We kind of touched on it in the prices video, the tariff stuff. And I really don't want to dredge up the whole pricing thing right now. But like, I do have to say, this idea that like this is all purely just 100% greed on the part of Nintendo is really, really silly, because at least here in the US,
It's probably 99.9% Nintendo wanting to raise their prices and just doing it. Because Nintendo has been pushing this sort of stuff for longer than people thought. I'll give you an example. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on the Switch was $60. $60. Now, I made the argument at the time. I made the same argument for the Switch 2 game, that I'm willing to pay the $60 because of the things that they're changing in Skyward Sword. And it was one of my favorite Zelda games, and so I'll pay the price, but I completely and totally recognize that increasing the price like that is it's a bit ridiculous for a game from 2011. But Nintendo has been doing this for a while, and it's worked. Gamers have supported the Switch in a way that I don't even think they could have envisioned after the Wii U. But when it comes to this game, when it comes to this pricing, when it comes to this situation, I think that it requires to look backwards and understand that they've been doing it for a while, that it's different, but it's also the same. It is. It is different. It feels different, but it's also the same. It's their same tactic of just trying to charge a little bit of extra money for a product that they probably shouldn't be charging at that price. And people like me saying, oh, I'm willing to pay it because of the quality. So I do think it's a majority of Nintendo greed, if you want to call it that. Business acumen. I think that a lot of it is business acumen. I don't think much of it is Trump and his tariffs. I think they've known about this for a long time. I don't know if Arlo is unfamiliar with Trump and his platform, but this is not new. Now, perhaps they knew about it but didn't think that Trump would do it, which is interesting. But again, at the end of the day, there's a way to solve this. Either make the switches in the United States, which they could do, or lower the tariffs from Japan to the United States.
It may become very, very, very expensive for anybody to ship and sell products overseas to here. This is a very, very...
And keep in mind, the way that he frames this, he didn't give a shit. This guy and a bunch of other lefties like him didn't give a shit about our companies selling overseas and getting tariffed. And, oh, we got a VAT tax and we got this tax, and they didn't care. Because for people like Arlo, I don't know him personally, but people like him, you can just hear it in the way that they talk. They're more interested in this sort of global stability, even if it's American working class people getting fucked. As long as this guy gets to go out and buy his sweatshop, the coffee beans were delightful today, $5 per cup, made by the, Ethiopian kids that are working at slave wages. This is the type of leftist materialism, the sort of iPhone activism, I'm such a good person from my iPhone. in the middle of a Starbucks. You know, oh, let me go and get it. Well, you can't have a Tesla anymore, but let me go get my, you know, electric vehicle. Let me go get in there and, you know, make my way home to the, you know, the house that my parents buy for me. It's this sort of just weird alternative, like, divorced from reality mindset where you don't understand the harm that comes from the sort of materialism and the, well, what about me, and the instant gratification and the, oh, well, it might be slightly more expensive. No, the only things that are going to be more expensive are items and products that are not made here and from countries that are too stupid to lower their tariffs.
Serious issue. And some people say, you know, like, well, it's not every other territory. Why are they selling this stuff for so expensive elsewhere? And I don't have all the answers right now. But like the U.S.
Yeah. Oh, it's Trump's tariffs, but they're also selling it more expensive in Canada. Yeah, they're also selling it more expensive in Australia. Oh, it's more expensive here and here. No, no, it's not the tariffs. It never was the tariffs.
is one of their biggest and most profitable territories. So no matter what happens, this really could affect their bottom line in a very, very big way. And sure, maybe there is some element here where like they're just kind of doing it because they think they can get away with it. Then there's also the idea that they're future-proofing because they foresee the economy tanking even harder. And so they're just trying to get ahead of things. Whatever. That's the whole...
But I tell you, the economy, maybe they're future-proofing. Because you think the economy is going to get worse because Trump put reciprocal tariffs on other countries that tariff us out the wazoo. I'm telling you, this thinking, I think Trump underestimated how unbelievably stupid and how unbelievably selfish a lot of these people are. I think that he may have underestimated just a bit.
Price thing. Let's try to just set the pricing thing aside for the moment. It's so complicated. At least right now, we can't pre-order Switch when we thought the Switch 2 when we thought we could, because nobody knows what's gonna happen. If the tariff stuff goes through as planned, there's going to be a 46% tariff on Vietnam, which is where Nintendo manufactures their Switch 2 consoles. And Japan is where they manufacture game carts, and there'd be a 24% tariff on that. Meaning that even at the current prices, even with an $80 game and a $450 system, selling those products here, the increased price is barely even going to touch how much money Nintendo is set to lose. And Nintendo hates to lose money on hardware. You know, a lot of the other companies will sell hardware at a loss. And honestly, if I were running a business, I feel like that is the way to do it, because you don't make money on the hardware, you make money on the software. You want to get the hardware in people's hands. You try to break even. But whatever the case, Nintendo doesn't like to lose money on hardware. They like to make money on hardware. But right now, like, we can't possibly know how much it costs them to manufacture and ship these consoles. We don't know what their profit margin is or was gonna be on a Switch 2, but with a 46% tariff for their consoles and 24% on the games themselves, I mean, like, yeah, I really don't know all of this stuff. But like, at least just looking at just doing like the basic math, wouldn't they have to sell a console for like $800 to like actually like make up for it? I don't know. They've tacked another $50 on versus what we expected. And yet, like, I don't know. That's kind of nothing, and even 24% on the games. So yeah, I really don't know. I don't know all of the raw numbers. I just know right now, nobody knows what's going to happen. We just don't know. And, you know, it's easy to be mad at Nintendo, but I kind of feel, at least from where I'm sitting, golly, sure hope I don't upload videos like this and everybody's like, oh, you're wrong about all this. You don't know what you're talking about. But at least from where I'm sitting right now, the way I see it, this might not be Nintendo, you know, charging into uncharted pricing territory, just doing it because they can. It could just be that Nintendo happens to be the first company releasing a bunch of really big, high-profile stuff in proximity to all of these potential changes. There is a chance that this is going to have a really incredibly serious impact on the entire industry, not even just video games, but the entire tech industry. Really serious impact on how much it costs for companies to manufacture and ship these products to us.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, these people have a mindset that, I mean, of course it's defeatist and like, oh man, who knows what's gonna happen? Oh man, this is gonna change the whole thing. Oh man. All it would take is for one of these countries to come back to Trump and say, we're lowering the tariffs to 10%. We're lowering it to 5%. We are doing, you know, reciprocal tariffs, but we're lowering it to 2.5. All it would take is something like that, and all of a sudden, the entire thing changes. I mean, that's what Trump has said multiple times. That he's interested in getting a better deal for American workers. Getting a better deal for American citizens. American businesses. So it would make sense that if they come back with a reasonable deduction, that the U.S. will match it. So, the way that he says it, 46%, that means any business that wanted to do any sort of, you know, exportation to Vietnam has to pay a tariff of what? What was it? 46%? And this guy thinks that's fair if it's on us, but not fair if it's on them. It's very weird to watch the argumentation around this because I don't think there is any argument. I think these tariffs all go to the positive of American people. But for some reason, there's this sort of energy around this topic where people don't care about America. They don't care about the United States. They only care about their short-term materialism. And, well, the Switch is going to come out on June 5th, but I may have to wait to pre-order it. And it may be a little bit more expensive. It's not going to be $800. I don't even think it's going to be $500. I think it's going to stay the same in terms of price. Because I think they've known about this for a long time. They're just going to ponder it and put it back at the $449 and $499. And then people will be like, oh wow, they didn't raise the price? No, this is greed. This is greed, and this is good business acumen from Nintendo. They know what they're doing. It's called the art of the deal, baby.
Having to pay more for games, I don't think this is just a Nintendo thing. I think we're gonna see this pretty across the board. And you know, it's easy to talk about video games. Again, I really like to focus on video games. I really want to on this channel. And just personally, I'd love to just focus on video games. But yeah, this is not going to just affect video games. This might be a really, really incredibly serious problem for our entire country and its entire economy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's not a problem when they tariff us. That's the thing here. It's never been a problem. This person has never said one word when Joe Biden was raping our country and driving our economy into the ground, shipping our jobs overseas, when Obama was doing it, not a word. But Trump actually does something to bring manufacturing over here, to incentivize companies to come over here, trying to bring jobs over here in the United States. Reciprocal tariffs that are discounted reciprocal tariffs. So he's not doing one for one. He's actually discounting on what they're tariffing us. And the response is doom and gloom. But if it's doom and gloom, why do they do it to us? If it's such a risky proposition, why do they do it to us? That's the one question that these people can never answer. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my outlook, my forecast is very different. I think Trump and the United States are going to win this. I think a lot of companies are going to invest in the United States. I don't think it's going to be an overnight thing, but I do think that manufacturing is going to return. I think that Trump is going to succeed in deporting the illegal criminal aliens and defeating the rogue judges. I think that when Trump talks about the golden age of America, I think that we're going to bring in a lot of money and the jobs are going to stay here. And I think by the end of it, there may be inflation. But I think that the wages and the quality of living is going to go up. That's my personal take based on everything I know. I don't think that we're headed for a Great Depression. I don't think it's going to be the end of gaming as we know it. I think that in this situation, Nintendo knew about this the whole time. They're using this delay to try to say, well, we pondered it and we just couldn't possibly raise the price anymore. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to release it at the $4.49. I don't think they're going to change pricing. Personally. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll do a video on it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Arlo's opinion is one that is shared apparently by quite a few people, but not by me. I think that is a leftist, defeatist, anti-American mindset, if I'm being perfectly honest. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. See you next time.